Bonjour, salut, and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the 1985 release of Sade's Diamond Life. Now, Sade does not divulge a lot of personal information. She's a very private person. She doesn't do a lot of interviews, and when she does, they're typically ones that maybe like 3 or 4 minutes, and she really doesn't dive too deep into the music. So as a whole, the world does not really know much about Sade. She doesn't have a lot of stories behind each album, each era. She's not a Madonna type artist who's going to have a lavish release and, a media impactful, era. Sade kind of comes, releases the music, it does well, and they bow out gracefully for another few years. She did 3 albums with the band in the 80s, and then they had Love Deluxe in 92. Between 92 and 2000, she had no new material except for a greatest hits bonus song. And in 2000, she released Lover's Rock, which contains the hit By Your Side and King of Sorrow and Somebody Already Broke My Heart. Then she waited 10 years to release Soldier of Love, which has songs like Soldier of Love and Baby Father. Amazing songs, amazing albums. And it's just curious to know why she waits so long. I understand wanting to take some years off, especially after a long tour, and just live your life. And that's perfectly great. But her fans just want new music so bad. Definitely Sade has, risen among the ranks and well beyond her contemporaries, I think, has made the mark on music history, music journalism. It's the mix of a jazzy, soulful, sophistopop type sound. Quiet Storm meets like Billie Holiday meets I don't know, the grace of like Diana Ross, but there's just so much to appreciate about Sade's overall sound. The group has put out so many amazing songs, classics through the years, and I remember I saw them in 2000, I believe it was 2011, in Atlanta, and they sold out the Phillips Arena and had to add a different night just because of demand and sales. So they're definitely missed. Their last album went to #1 on its debut, and it'll stay there for 3 weeks. I remember being so excited. I did 2 reviews for the album when it came out. One for my magazine I worked for, and then one for a newspaper I worked for. So they both came out, totally different articles, and I was very proud of them. And I just think about Sade, she just has a really impactful, a real impactful impact on my life, yes. And I just love her, and I was able to finally get all her albums on vinyl recently, which is, I'm very lucky that I found it. The newer albums were $25, and on eBay and Amazon sometimes they can go for like $300. So definitely they're rare and hard to get. So if you find a copy, please pick it up. Even if you own it, I would say, because that's a lot of money. But either way, it all started with her debut, Diamond Life. This came out in 1984 in the UK under the Epic label, and then in the US, she was signed to Portrait, and they released the album in 1985. They had 2 singles that did moderately well in the US. They achieved more success in the UK. Your Love is King and Hold On to Your Love, like I said, they're still staples to this day of Sade's aura and her legend. But at the time, they were just introduction songs. And, Madonna had Burning Up and Everybody, just songs to, once you buy the album, you'll know the songs, but it may not have been the big hit that they, would have appreciated. It was with Smooth Operator, the album's 3rd single and the album's 1st song, that they really started to take over the world musically and really became a overnight sensation with that song. It went to #5 in the US, and to this day, I think it is one of the most beloved songs, highly regarded songs. And if you listen to it, you see why. I have the 12-inch version, which actually is longer and has really great instrumentation, plus it blends into Red Eye, a favorite of mine, and they just go so well together. But it's on stream, so First thing I have to say, this is the European version of the album. You can tell it's European because it has a, hold on, turquoise spine, and on the back, turquoise numbers. The US version has white on the spine and pink numbers on the back. The reason I'm talking about the differences is because if you buy this, you need to be aware. In a good way, I guess. The US version has the US version of Smooth Operator has the single version, basically. It sounds polished, it's dubbed, it's professionally sounding. The UK's version is different. To me, on the UK, which was the single in the UK, it sounds a little bit more like a demo. The vocals are not dubbed. The instrumentation is the exact same for the most part. There's a few things different, like percussion. But there is a drastic difference in the sound. And I want to say the tempo is different, but I can't quite put my finger on how. But it just feels faster. It just might, I'm not sure what it is, but it definitely sounds different. So if you're going to buy this album on vinyl, please check out the UK version, which you can get on iTunes USA on the Diamond Life album. That is the actual UK version. Then if you go to her Greatest Hits album and listen to Smooth Operator, that is the polished version. That is the known version on US radio and most of the world. I just really can't stress that enough because I have a copy here that is the unpolished version. So it has one vocal line instead of dubbed, and it doesn't have the percussion when she says no need to ask. So it's very different. And I just want everybody to know that because when you buy it, you know, you definitely want to look at that. Just like I said, the back is blue and then you have this spine is blue. So it has a hype sticker from 1984. This was released in 1984. And it was distributed in Holland, so it's the European version. So this one does have the stripped down version of Smooth Operator. Again, just make sure you buy the one that you want. So they had been doing gigs all over England, New York, and when they got signed, there was this entire like sophistopop type I would say craze going on with like music that was a little bit like more for cocktail hour, a little more laid back, smoother, jazzier, but not quite smooth jazz, but something that kind of mixed smooth jazz, pop, and R&B, soul, and just different sounds of the world. Actually, the success of Sade really led to the opening of the door of it. So bands like Everything But the Girl and Simple Minds, I would say, benefited a lot from Sade's success. And at the time in the US, this wasn't really a thing. So Sade really came out of nowhere when most of the songs in the 1985 era, songs like a Virgin or When Doves Cry or, Careless Whisper, I mean, they were pop songs. And Sade is coming out with a very jazz flavored, kind of tropical, laid back, just catchy pop song. And but I would argue ultimately they are a pop group with a lot of strong influences, if that makes sense, because they really don't stick anything long enough, but they do always have that pop accessibility. There's nothing overproduced about them or mainstream or generic, but they do have a lot of pop elements. I mean, it's hard to classify them as soul because I wouldn't really compare her to Shaka Khan or Aretha Franklin. I wouldn't say she's exactly pop because I wouldn't say she's like Madonna or Kylie Minogue. And I couldn't quite say she's R&B because she's nothing like Janet Jackson or, Vanessa Williams or even Anita Baker, who I think Anita Baker was her competition, I would say, her biggest competition. And kind of like, if you like Sade, check out Anita Baker. Although Anita Baker is much more soulful and has a lot of more elements. That's just very Quiet Storm, typical 80s Quiet Storm pop. It's well done. It's just a little bit more typical. But Sade was kind of on her own, well, with her group, sorry. It's a band, not just, she's not a solo artist. A lot of people think she's either a solo artist, and they also think that her name is pronounced Sade, which on the US hype stickers, it show the pronunciation as a sticker saying Sade. So I understand why there's confusion because even the record label was marketing her as Sade. So either way. So let's talk about the album. Like I said, it came out in 1985. Smooth Operator, I told you about that song, first big hit, and definitely one of their most well known. I think they have about 4 songs that everybody knows. Smooth Operator. What's the other one? I'm sorry. Sweetest Taboo, No Ordinary Love, and By Your Side. Paradise is also one, maybe number 5, but it would be a low number 5 because I don't think it has the success as the others. But definitely Smooth Operator is one of those songs everybody knows. I love to sing it karaoke. I love to sing it karaoke. It's a great song. Very melodic and not too vocally challenging, but it's fun vocals. So when you do have to challenge yourself, it's fun to do it. Next song is Your Love Is King. This song sounds a little different from Smooth Operator, but definitely has that jazz feel, a little bit more jazzy feel, I would say. Less Latin-y than the previous album. Sorry, than the previous song. And I love it. I think it's an amazing song. Hang On To Your Love was a second single. And I just think it's a very simple, beautiful song. It has a great guitar breakdown in the middle. Quite long for a a pop radio targeted group, but it's a good song, and it's also featured on the greatest hits. I like the album version better. It's just longer. It's literally the same. It's just longer, and if I like a song, I want to hear more of it. I want it bigger. I like it bigger. So definitely get the album. Same with Smooth Operator. They cut it in the greatest hits, but it's a longer song, and it's much better as a longer song. I would argue. And the next song is Frankie's first... Sorry, Your Love Is King. We totally skipped Your Love Is King. Okay, so Your Love Is King was the first single, the first main soiree into the mainstream. It's a great song. It sounds a little bit like Smooth Operator. Not as good, especially if they're side by side. But it's a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's still a 10 out of 10. It's just Smooth Operator is like a million out of a million. I mean, I know they're the same equation, but I just think that there's something very magical about Smooth Operator that I don't quite think they've replicated since, but that bar was set so high that everything after that's just gonna be amazing. So yeah, Your Love Is King kind of, I think if it would have put on the B side or something like a little further, you'd appreciate it more upon listening to it, but I definitely think it's one of the strongest on the album. So again, that jazzy feel, the video has Sade playing with playing cards, and she was very modelly. She was very posy, and I love that. I think like the album cover, she's just so posy about it's just so dramatic. And I have this shirt just in case anyone was wondering. This is the Sade shirt I designed. It's a little different. I think the font's bigger because of you want to see the word Sade. The next song on the album is Frankie's First Affair. Now, this is just 4 out of 4 amazing songs so far. Frankie's First Affair is a very jazzy, smoky, dark club vibe. I love it. It's so great. I actually kind of ignored it for a while. I'm not sure why. And then I started getting into the vinyls, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, wow, it's a really good song. It's actually one of her best songs. Yeah, the thing is, with Sade, you're going to find a lot of good material that you're going to treasure. That's how I would put her as I would classify Sade as a treasure to music in general. And it's a good sexy song, very, like I said, just a smoky bar, dark, maybe some dark blue lights, and just very dirty feeling. It's definitely one of the best on the album. I love it. Next song is When Am I Going to Make a Living, which was a single in the UK, not in the US. It's just about the hardships of not having a good job and struggling financially. It's really catchy. I love it. It was a video, like I said, in a single, but it wasn't released I don't think it's released on the greatest hits at all. So I think it's great. It has a saxophone break, and it's very good. If you like Smooth Operator, you're gonna most likely like When Am I Going to Make a Living. It would have been nice if they released in the US. I don't remember seeing her videos a lot growing up, besides Smooth Operator and No Ordinary Love and stuff like that, her big hits. But it would have been cool to see that, because I've never actually seen the video until YouTube. So next song is Cherry Pie. That's side B, That's a little bit more funky song. It's just a really good guitar intro, very, very awesome intro, and it's just a great song. A little more upbeat, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more in your face. But it's Sade, so in your face is probably like 30 feet away from you. It's just a little bit more dramatic, I'd say. Definitely nothing dated about it, nothing annoying about it. But of the whole bunch, it is the one that kind of stands up for itself the most. And a lot of critics actually have called it the best song on the record. I disagree, but I do really like it. I think Cherry Pie is one of the strongest songs. You have 6 songs in a row on this album that are just amazing. So if you're streaming it, you could stream it in order. It does flow very beautifully. Sade wrote all the song lyrics and the melodies, and her band did the music. And they worked so beautifully together. They're such talents. And I mean, everything from lyrically to the structure of the chords or the instrumentation, the production, everything is so beautiful. And I mean, it's just an amazing record. And so far we have 6 great songs. And the next song is Sally, which is the worst song on the album. Sally is about the Salvation Army. Basically, it's about a woman who gives a lot and works hard for, to help the boys. And it kind of, in a way, could be portrayed misconstrued as like somebody who, I guess, is open to sex with a lot of guys and taking care of them. Because there's a lot of lyrics like where it's like this one's bending over backwards for them, and it's, I mean, I'm not a pervert, but there's just something really off-putting about the lyrics. But Sade did say it's about the Salvation Army, which is really weird that they would write a song about the Salvation Army. Like, I understand, I don't remember there being a tie to it, like, it's not like Sade was sponsored by them, or, I wonder why. Maybe she was helped by the Salvation, I don't know. But Sally is a weaker song. Lyrically, it's cheesy. Like, put your hands together for Sally. It's kind of weird. It's definitely off-putting. I mean, the sound matches the album, but it is the weakest song in terms of just production. A little lazy compared to the rest, but the rest is so high that, I mean, nothing's really good. I mean, if there's even a little bit of a slip, you're gonna read it. You're gonna throw some shade, because it. I mean, if you're comparing to such great songs, it's, the bar is very high with this album. The next song is "I Will Be Your Friend," which sounds a lot like "Smooth Operator." It has very similar structure. It's the most Smooth Operator-ish song of the bunch, besides Smooth Operator. It's a great song. It's just about someone being lonely and going through hard times, and she's saying, "I will be your friend. I'm here for you. Don't worry. We'll get through this." It's a little cheesy, but I like it. It's a good song, and because of the amazing chorus and production, you don't listen to lyrics too much about wanting to help someone, which I'm sure there are people who like that kind of stuff, but I'm just not into like We Are the World kind of stuff. I'm not into those. So yeah, great song. Next song is "Why Can't We Live Together," which will be the last song on the album, and is their only cover, the only song on the album that Sade did not write. It's good. It's like Sally. I think it's like next to Sally is weakest song. It's just basically a call to everybody. Why can't we live together? Why can't we be peaceful and free and love each other? And again, it has that jazzy feel. It's very slow, kind of like tiptoeing towards you. Just more laid back vocals. It's different. I mean, I definitely would check it out. Like, it's not a bad song at all. It's just definitely weaker than "I Will Be Your Friend" and "Cherry Pie." I don't know. There's some B-sides to the album. There's one called "Should I Love You," which is an amazing song. It sounds a little bit like a TV theme show, a little bit, but it's such a great song. I love it. It's one of my favorite Sade songs. I wish that would have been on the album instead of Sally. And there's a song called "Love Affair with Life," which was a B-side. And I think it's been released on some of the CDs, just because I think there was bonus tracks, or maybe in some countries it was released on the album, the CD. and that's a great song too. It's just a it's the more jazzy song. It sounds a little bit more like Billie Holiday than the rest by far, and I wish that would have been there instead of Why Can't We Live Together, but you know that's it's fine. It's still a great album. But I think they would have replaced those two songs because those songs are from the recording era, like from that session. So from those sessions. So I just don't know why they didn't put it on the album. Um, let's take a little look at the inside, the insert. Some photos of the group, and then you have the production, no lyrics. And then the back, like I said, is the blue numbers. And then this disc, and this is Epic. So like Epic, I guess, was a European thing, and then they were bought by the Sony. Because I remember Gloria Estefan being on Epic as a kid. So I'm not quite sure how that works, but I know like she was with Portrait in the U.S. and then maybe they were bought by Epic and then bought by Sony. Because now she's currently with Sony, and always has been. But yeah, I just, I'm waiting for a new Sade album. I love this one. I don't think it's her strongest record. It's a little too cohesive, because she does so well with diversity. And later albums like Promise and Stronger Than Pride and Love Deluxe, those albums I think are a little stronger overall. So it's really hard to say this is actually her fourth best album. It's really hard to say that, but it is, and it's such a good album. That's the thing about Sade. Her fourth best is something you need to buy today. You need to go buy the vinyl, listen to it. It's on stream. It's on YouTube. If you whatever, just go listen to it now. Go rent it from the library. Whatever you need to do. It's a great album, and I love Sade. I think she's my second favorite artist of all time. But again, we don't know much about her story. There isn't long stories about each album. But I would still manage to talk for over 20 minutes about a 9-track disc without giving you musical samples or really any reactions. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like if you liked it, and please subscribe. Also, let me know what songs on the album you do like, the ones you don't like as much, and your favorite Sade songs, your least favorite Sade songs, and just what you think of the album. Yeah, so again, like if you like, and subscribe if you want to subscribe. Have a great day.